Dun dun dun! The stream
We
is live.
we are we are live, and Missing Mars is first. What's up?
What do I win? You win a new copy of something or other.
Or not?
Youngblood #1.
Mhm.
That Rob Liefeld's putting out a new Youngblood #1.
And it's going to be like 25 variant covers.
Yep. And one that comes with a card.
Yeah, we started a discussion in one of the Portuguese comics groups. Who is the best? Who is the best Deadpool writer? And somebody said, "Please don't say Joe Kelly." And of course, a bunch of us, the older farts, we all chimed in. Of course, it's Rob. Who else could it be? Although the, Joe Kelly fundamentally changed Deadpool.
Yeah.
You know, because the idea of Deadpool is not funny. He thinks it's funny, but nobody else thinks it's funny. And when you read the original X-Force comics, and later when Rob left for Image and Fabian was left basically in charge of the character for a while, because Rob always complains about Fabian and says, "Oh, the co-creator." But I think Fabian had a nice grip on what Deadpool was supposed to be, and everyone. And then Joe Kelly fundamentally changed the character when he finally had an ongoing series, and everyone just took over from that. And I think we're missing out, because when Rob came back and he wrote Deadpool, he was that early X-Force Deadpool.
I was just discussing Rob Liefeld with some of my students, because the discussion started when one of my students was asking why I and other teachers can be sort of non-committal and wishy-washy in giving critiques. And I was like, well, I can't speak for everyone, but part of it is me trying to figure out what you're doing. And part of it is I don't think harsh critiques are useful. But that's what he wanted. And part of it was you just never know. And me trying to figure out, I've been wrong about things so many times. And one of the things I've said I was, wrong about, if Rob Liefeld had listened to all his critics who said he should draw better, he should draw more like this, he wouldn't have his career. He, as he said, he figured out how to draw like a 7th grader, and that's how he drew. I'm like, if he had listened to everybody to try and fix his flaws, he might not have had the career he had, and we should all have Rob Liefeld's career. Yeah. That's part of it too. It's like you never know.
Yeah, last week I did the part 2 of a video that I was doing for my friend for the Portuguese comics channel, Central Comics, and because of that, I ended up rewatching a little bit of part 1. And the idea was I was showing obscure non-superhero stuff by superhero writers that we grew up reading.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that was never published in Portuguese, so people don't know. For example, I showed a lot of Jerry Conway and Len Wein and Marv Wolfman doing House of Secrets, because we didn't know House of Secrets.
Okay.
And from Steve Englehart, I showed Coyote, and I picked an image from the backup story, which was Todd McFarlane's published work, and I said, "Okay, try to guess who this is. Any idea?" You're not going to get there. It's Todd McFarlane. And I pulled up the page. Yeah, I would not have guessed it was Todd McFarlane.
No,
because Todd, when he drew his first comic, it didn't look like Todd yet.
No.
And Rob, when he drew his first comic, it did look like Rob.
Yeah. Because he learned to draw like a 7th grader. And I think that is what people like about his stuff too. I always heard stories about people copying his work. When they were in 7th grade, that was the guy they could copy. That's why
Yeah,
they liked him.
yeah. And my comics dealer once said, "Yeah, I know why people. Yeah, I know why kids like Rob Liefeld. He draws like them."
Yeah, yeah. And if he'd listened to his critics,
Hmm.
he might not have been as successful as he was. I was like, you
First,
really got to figure out what a guy, when giving a critique, you really have to try and figure out what the person is trying to do. And if you don't know that Rob Liefeld is trying to draw like a 7th grader, you won't get it.
Mhm.
I mean, I get it now, but I still don't particularly like it. But at least now I understand, which I didn't understand back in the day because I never heard him say that.
Yeah, no, you kind of get it. What I was seeing though, I was rereading the Asgardian Wars X Men annual stories that Art Adams drew, and all of a sudden,
Ah.
oh man, now I can't unsee it. I'm seeing all the poses that Rob Liefeld copied in Art
Oh
Adams's work.
yeah, yeah. He copied stuff all the time.
Mm,
I think that's part of. But if you were a 7th grader, you could copy Rob Liefeld's drawings more than Art Adams.
yeah, because
Uh,
there were more of it.
and speaking of rereading, I reread something this week. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. This is Paul Has a Summer Job by
No?
Michael. I think he's
Michel.
yeah, Michel. He's French Canadian.
Okay. He has an Italian name, but that doesn't mean anything.
Right, yeah, Robert Gilotti. And it's actually
Rabaiati.
Robert, and it's copyright 2003, 2005. I think this is the second printing, 2005. So and it's translated by Helge Dasher. So I'm guessing it was originally written in French too.
Yes, mostly.
But he's got a series of these books. That's kind of his drawing style that I discovered back in probably the mid-aughts. And they're just wonderful, lovely stories about this guy named Paul in different periods of his life. This one, he's probably, I think he's still in, well, he's supposed to be still in high school. He rage quits high school at the beginning of the book. So I think he's around 18 and goes and gets a job at a print shop where he's going to be some sort of printer. But then very quickly, an acquaintance of his calls him up and says, "Hey, do you want to work at our summer camp as a camp counselor this summer?" So hence the name, Paul Has a Summer Job. So
Paul
he
has a
goes
summer job.
off to the woods of Canada to get a summer job. So it's all about him learning to be a camp counselor, kind of a coming of age story. His first love, who's another camp counselor, learning to deal with the kids, learning some confidence by rock climbing. And at the end, they give us a little, let's see, the last 20 pages or so is flash forward to him as an adult. And he's got a wife and a kid, and he's going to this party in these rich people's house. And it turns out their house is in the old woods where he used to be a camp. So it's got a nice full circle thing at the end. But some really nice. I mean, I think I have 3 of these Paul graphic novels.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And
So
they're
that
all
one's the
good.
second one. That one's the
Yeah.
second one.
Paul Up
Yeah.
North is one of them.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm seeing it as a at BD So the graphic novels are listed here. Fall Up North would be number 8. It's from 2015.
Okay. So he did 8 of them? I think I have 3 of them. So.
He did 9 of them.
Wow. I don't
And
think
then there's a limited edition short story graphic novel.
And this one is by Drawn and Quarterly. I don't know how many of them they published.
Yeah. There are 9 here. So the first would be probably in English will probably be Paul in the Countryside.
I think that's
So
the
Paul has a summer job. Paul in the apartment. Paul at the subway. Paul fishing. Paul at Quebec. Paul at the park. Paul in the north. Paul at home. And yeah, Paul at home would be the last one. That came out in 2019.
Oh wow! I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to
the
look
first
up and
one.
see if I can find some more of these because
Yeah.
these are also ones I can pick up anytime and read. They're just enjoyable. I mean, when I
So
say
Bidetech.
that, what was
Okay,
that?
so Bidetech has uh, the U.S. language editions listed here. So there are 7, which means there are 2 books they didn't they didn't publish, and they
Look
have
for the other
different
one.
covers. They have different covers and different titles. For example, Paul at the park becomes Paul joins the Scouts,
Ah,
and they're not all drawn in quarterly. So drawn in quarterly, that Paul in the country, Paul has a summer job, and Paul moves out, which is Paul at the which in French is Paul at the apartment. Then they also they're missing number 4 here. But Paul Goes Fishing is number 5. That's the last one. The 6th one was published by Conundrum Press. So was the 7th one. Then there's a one out with no number called The Adventures of Paul, which is a short story. That one's drawn in quarterly as well. Yeah. So whoever does the U.S. version puts them out of order.
they can stand alone. They don't really have to be in any order.
Yeah, it kind of looks like we're reading from here. It looks like it reminds me of the Adrian Mole books. You know what those are, Adrian Mole?
No, I don't know those ones.
Okay, so Adrian Mole was a British series of novels, written as a diary of a teenager, and then moving on to his adult years.
Okay.
And you can kind of read them out of order because,
Yeah.
I mean, since it's a diary, they're chronological. But if you read them out of order, there's no problem.
Right. Yeah, there's no problem reading these, and like this, and something like this is also the reason when like the comics I give away to my students, I say, "Am I ever going to read this again?" And it's like, no, because I'd rather read Paul Gets a Summer Job. This is probably the 3rd time I've read this, over the years. And it's just an enjoyable read. It's just one of those, you get into it. It's an enjoyable read. It's a lot of fun.
Captain Infinity is here. Death
Okay.
Goblin says the Rob thing is a bit foolish. Every artist strives for a personal style. His style is youthful and professional amateur. People who want refined figure comics won't get or care about that energy.
Yeah. Well, also what it brings up with Rob is kind of why him. In terms of that's why you see a lot of other professional comic artists or semi-professional comic artists get mad at Rob because they don't think his work is any good.
But Rob has that
he's
quality,
getting hired and not someone else.
Because Rob has that thing that goes beyond whatever talent. He's a hustler.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? It's like you're in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Somebody sees you, whoever hires you likes your work, it sells, and they keep liking you. Meanwhile, somebody who's, better than you isn't in the right place at the right time. And they keep working hard, but nobody cares. It's such a crapshoot. It's winning the lottery. Mm-hmm. The cartoonist says Paul Gix is a nice guy. Oh, okay.
Oh, did you meet him maybe Death Goblin met him at a convention in Canada?
Could be. Maybe he lives in St. John's too. He's somewhere up there.
Captain Infinity says he likes an enjoyable read. And Donald Rex is here. Hello.
Hello there. Another Friday night. This is a very enjoyable read. It's just well done.
Yeah.
That's why I'll find more of them. And look at it's one I can pick up and it can capture me within a few pages and I'll just keep going. It's a good read. I've met him a
Ellen's met
few
him a few times.
times.
Cool.
That's cool. Have you read his comics?
You better.
I hope so.
Well, I know a bunch of people here that I've never read their comics.
It happens, but usually
And
I like to read.
most of them are pretty nice guys.
Yeah, usually if I know someone, I like to. Yes, I hear most of them. Usually, I like to. Well, if they're just an acquaintance, I might not. But if I know them, I would.
Yeah, the thing is that since there are very few people here who are into comics and very few people making comics, and you want to do some critique, you
Mhm.
kind of can't, because you know all the artists, and the artists know all of
Right.
their know all of the readers.
You got to draw
The
him as
only
a scout. Yeah, he's good at drawing like a seventh grader.
Yeah,
Well, I
there was a
think
point a few
people.
years ago that Liefeld had come back to Marvel. He was doing something called Major X, and that's at that stage it was probably the best comic that Marvel was putting out.
But I think fans resent him. I enjoy the Pulse. Yeah, that's his name,
Yeah,
Rabagiati.
Rabagliati.
Rabagiati. I can't say. I
Rab,
forget.
Rab, okay, an Italian would pronounce it Rabagliati.
Rabagiati.
Yeah,
I got too much R, too much phlegm in that L.
that's how the GL becomes a yeah.
Yeah. That just makes no sense. Yeah.
And the
What
I
in the
is
wide world of
and
sports is going on?
that I is not pronounced. It's the GLI, which makes it the yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I think when I look at GLI together, yeah, makes a little more sense.
Rabagliati.
Rabayati. Makes a little more sense when I see it together and you say it there. Yeah, but I think fans sometimes resent Liefeld, not only for the attention he gets, but if he gets on their favorite book, they're upset. More so than other creators, I've noticed. Like plenty of other he's the only like 90s creator who really gets that venom, I think. Which is a
Yes.
strange thing.
Even
Even if
Todd never got it.
No. But like even if like Ron Lim got on your favorite book, you'd go, "Oh well, got Ron Lim." Even if you weren't a Ron Lim fan,
I
you
was
wouldn't
a
be
Ron Lim
upset.
fan. I
There you
loved
go.
Ron Lim in Silver Surfer and X-Men 2099. I think
He could
Ron
draw.
Lim, he could draw, but I think he kind of lost it a little bit when he did that comic for the MC2 line at Marvel, J2.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that one?
Yep.
Because he drew it a little bit more cartoony than it was normal.
Ah.
And it became simpler. And after that, it kind of became it changed this style a little. And I kind of noticed that a lot of the faces became anime faces, and that annoyed me. That student sketch of you this week was good. It's nice seeing school call board doodles still happening. Yeah.
Yep.
What's it like
Yep.
drawing chains?
What's he like? I've never noticed Rob drawing many chains.
No. No, yeah, he didn't draw, since he never drew Ghost Rider. Jim Lee drew Ghost Rider
Yeah.
in that crossover. But he drew everything like it was a cylinder.
He'd draw him like a seventh grader. However, that would they'd avoid drawing chains, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my comic dealer didn't like Jim Lee at the time.
No?
He says, I don't get it. He used to look at this. People like this? I don't get it.
He must have been old. Really old
Well,
school.
is about what is 8 years older than me.
Okay, so
And
he's not that old.
no, but he's still like whoever. If it's not John Romita, at least if he draws like John Romita.
Ah, okay. Because I remember Jim Lee catching my eye on his Punisher stuff.
Mhm.
It was kind of not that I'm a huge Jim Lee fan, but I could see he was good.
Yeah, the Punisher stuff is good, but you kind of it's still a little raw,
Yeah,
and you kind you kind of
I
did
don't think he had
everything.
Scott Williams on him yet.
He did because Scott Williams I think came in with Will's with Will Portacio,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then Portacio was inking as well. I think Portacio was Jim Lee's first inker, but at Alpha Flight, I can't remember who was the inker, but it didn't really matter. And I have one of he did the final issue of one of the Shadowline Saga books,
Uh-huh.
uh, and he inked himself, and it was quite different from what we got used to from him, because Scott Williams inks inks he inks always with the same brush, and Jim Lee inked himself as if he was being inked by Klaus Jensen.
No, you know what actually made, I examined this once back then. What
Rob likes,
actually made,
yes.
you know that. What made Jim Lee and Scott Williams, Ron Lim,
Drew like Lego,
really?
and Todd's art is too squiggly and silly, even though I did collect the Spidey run in the early 90s. Well,
Yeah,
Drew like
I'm too old for
Lego.
those guys.
I don't, I don't get draw like Lego.
Well, it depends on what period Ron Lim you're talking about. Because as I've said before, sometime in the like 92, 93, 94, somewhere around there, Ron Lim became the go-to guy if you needed a book drawn in a week.
Yes, he became the new
And
Don
that
Hacker.
stuff was not nearly as good. That was not peak Ron Lim.
Hmm.
But once you sort of get that reputation as the rescue guy, all you get is rescue work.
Hmm.
And I'm sure he made a lot of money, but the work suffered because he had to draw it in a week. And
Yeah.
eventually the editors, well, bankruptcy, and the editors kind of tired of his work because he wasn't the guy you went to for a monthly book anymore. He was, so I think that hurt him a lot in the mid 90s or so.
Yeah, that's why I didn't
Mhm.
really care for his J2 work. He still did good
Yeah.
work on X-Men 2099. I
Yeah.
can't remember what. It kind of depended on the inker sometimes,
Yeah.
because I can't remember who the inkers were in Silver Surfer and in X-Men 29. I remember they were different inkers, and they did good. They did a good job, but what came out in J2 was not good.
And if you look at, like as I was saying, if you look back at Jim Lee and Scott Williams' work, what they did differently and Scott Williams was really good at was most cross hatching uh, is two lines going in each direction, sort of making triangles. What
Yeah.
their sort of innovation was, they were doing triple hatching. So all of their cross hatching didn't have just two lines, it had another one coming up the middle. So
Hmm.
it created a different type of shading than you'd normally see in comics. And it created detail, because there were more lines on the page.
Hmm.
But it really was sort of a different sort of thing then. And I just could remember trying to, back at the time, the only reason I figured that out was because I was trying to copy it at one point just to see what they were doing. And that ended up that was what they were doing. But unless you were specifically examining it, you'd never know that. You'd just say, oh, cross hatching. But it
Yeah.
really wasn't cross hatching, it was triple hatching, which is, 50% more work. So most people never ever did that. Even Jim Lee imitators didn't do that. They
Yeah.
didn't quite catch on that was what was going on
No,
in
I
his
think.
finishing style.
Well, The most prevalent imitator was when Mike Deodato was drawing like Jim Lee, and
Yeah,
he would if he had one of the people from his studios doing the inking, that guy did more traditional inking. It would look more
right.
like a Joe Rubinstein or something.
Hmm. He would copy sometimes Jim Lee's uh, shadowing, his graphic design quality, but not the finished inking because that was
No.
too much work.
Hmm. But Deodato had his own style, and for a long time, Americans never saw it.
Yeah, and then it just degenerated into the Deodato Studios, which was not
Uh,
very good.
but Deodato studios were not Deodato, and you could tell. There
Yes,
were
exactly. I
there
can
were a bunch
remember,
of
who was
guys.
it? One time, I think it was Bobby Chase hired Mike Deodato for something. I can't even remember what it was. Maybe some She-Hulk. And I just remember her being so disappointed in the art that came back, and she was like,
Mhm.
"I don't think he touched these pages at all." And you could clearly see he didn't touch those
Yeah,
pages at all.
Is- it's easier for for a foreign studio to find guys to ape your style, and if they're not doing
Yeah,
it, the then it's not working right. Football King says, anyone remember Angel Medina? Loved his work.
I remember
Yes,
that name. I can't picture his work.
Angel Medina didn't some Spawn, I think, because he took over Dreadstar
Okay, I was going to say I
after,
remember him doing something for Marvel.
and he did Hulk. He did Hulk after Kim Smith. After not Kim Smith. Kim Smith was the inker. After Liam Sharp,
Okay,
because there was a bunch. They had a bunch of British guys after after Dale Keown quit,
maybe it was
and then came
Elektra.
and and then came Angel Medina. Did Electra?
The Deodato Studios. I'm picturing an
No,
Elektra drawing now. Maybe it was that.
Diodato. Yeah, Diodato was the regular artist on Electra.
Okay, that must be
So
what I'm thinking of. That.
I remember seeing Diodato Studios in a Fantastic Four Unlimited and Fantastic Force. Usually there were also a couple of fill-ins. You could tell they were fill-ins and they were second-rate books. Uh,
Who
and
was
I
in
mean,
Fantastic Force?
uh,
I vaguely remember the book. I think I've got a pop-up cover of an issue, but I cannot remember
yeah,
the team at all.
yeah, I can't either. I think Brevoort wrote it.
Yeah, he didn't write a whole lot, so.
No, but it has. But all of his writing is around that time, 93,
Uh,
94, 95. He did Secret Defenders, and I think he did
okay.
Fantastic Force as well. I think he was going to came up with Viabraxis. Oh, and
Oh,
the Reed's sister from the time stream, the one that looked like Angela, what Antara?
I don't remember her at all. I don't
Yeah,
think I was reading any of that stuff.
Angela Medina did
Let me
Venom.
show you something I did read this week. Invincible Universe Battle Beast. This is the Robert Kirkman, Ryan Otley, and Elisa Leone book,
Hmm.
and it's been fun.
Hmm.
Battle Beast is a super powerful cosmic battle beast who's looking for someone strong enough to kill him.
Huh.
And so this was, and the first couple issues were just sort of battle. And this issue, he got his ass kicked pretty well, but hasn't died. There's usually a few covers for it. Here's 6 covers. Like I said, usually, but this he's going into longer stories now. So in this one, he's here he killed the the brother of this super powerful person. Now he's going to kill the sister too. So he's been on this planet for a couple issues trying to kill, but he kind of got his ass kicked this issue. But so did the sister, the beast, the other beast. So they kind of fought to a draw, and now they have to heal up and figure out something that's going on this planet. And at the end, we get to see some of the Viltrumites from the Invincible universe are going to make an appearance at some point soon. So we'll have it'll have more tie-ins with the Invincible universe. Matter of fact, I just saw something else from Invincible universes coming out. What was it? Did I see it in here? Battle Beat. No, there's another. It's not in here. I think there's another sort of cosmic character from the Invincible universe that's going to have his own series. So we'll see how that is. But this has been a fun series. If you like bloody fight scenes, which Invincible was all about, bloody fight scenes, more bloody fight scenes in this one. Bloody. Have you read any of Invincible?
Yeah, I think so earlier on, but I think I stuck with it that much because
yeah, it's definitely it's a series worth reading.
Yeah, but Ryan Otley kind of annoys me after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it starts feeling like second-rate Mikey Von Oming.
I think Oming is a lot more graphic designy. Otley is a lot more illustrative. So
no.
I don't see the comparison between them too much.
I think he's trying to draw figures the same way as Oming.
Yeah.
And the end result is more mundane to me.
Okay.
Maybe he doesn't do it the same way anymore because I haven't been keeping up with Otley. But in Invincible,
it's got an inker on this too.
It didn't evolve much for me.
If I have any criticism, well, his work does look different than it does in my mind. In my mind, from Invincible, his work is more thin-lined. This is not thin-lined, but it's also the coloring is really garish on this, so it's tough to judge the artwork since the coloring is so garish. But it's supposed to be. It's like an alien planet, alien creatures fighting each other. So they're all weird colors. But I find it fine. It doesn't bother me. I'm okay with Ryan Otley.
Yeah, but then again, I don't know how I haven't been keeping track.
Yeah, you haven't seen him in years and years.
Yeah.
So. Didn't he draw for Marvel for a little while after? Was he on Spider-Man after Invincible ended?
I don't know.
I think he was. I think he moved over to Marvel. I can't remember though, since I didn't actually read any of it.
For a long while, I didn't see any point in trying to get back to Spider-Man so if he was there, I missed it. I don't think it was was it? Maybe it was at something X related.
I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, but he was at Spider-Man. Yeah.
Wasn't Spider-Man?
Yeah.
He did sometimes these indie guys I like who go over to Marvel and I glance at their stuff and can't remember what it was a year later.
Yeah, it does look a lot different from when he started. He looked more amateurish than he does now. I think his figures are I'm taking a look at some of his commissions. There's one of Homelander, looks very good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since Invincible started.
Yeah, he doesn't even draw Invincible the same way yet. So yeah, okay, I guess he got good. good. I mean,
was he the one who started Invincible or the second one?
ah,
Let me go over to my shelf and look at my hardcovers. They're right here.
isn't it?
Kirkman, Walker, and Otley. So he may have been the second one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then maybe it was
Walker.
Maybe it was Cory Walker's art that I didn't like. I guess Otley's name kind of stuck in my head.
It could have been Otley because Otley took over. Let's see, fairly soon, I think. I remember Cory Walker. I remember liking Cory Walker's art better than Otley, but then I grew to like Otley's. Let me see. And I think Cory Walker continued to do a lot of the covers and design. Cory Walker, penciler inker, issues 1 to 7. Ryan Otley, penciler inker, issues 1 to 7. What? How can they both be the penciler inker in issues 1 to 7? Cory Walker's stuff is much more thin-lined, but I think Ryan Otley was kind of imitating him at the beginning. And I think Cory Walker designed a lot of the characters. Mm-hmm. That must be an error. It must be Cory Walker because there's 14 issues in here. So it must be 1 through 7 and then 8 through 14.
Okay. I think I read about 20-something issues, so I would have seen Ryan.
And I think Cory Walker came back for an arc maybe here or there, but I think Ryan Otley drew the rest of it. Bill Crabtree doing the color. Let's see. Yeah, whoops. Book 2 is all Otley.
Yeah.
So no Cory Walker in this.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. But Invincible's definitely worth a read, or watch the cartoon like everyone seems to be doing on.
I don't even know where the cartoon. Yeah, okay. We don't even have Amazon Prime here. It's not available. Okay.
Yeah, and it is Amazon. The cartoon has driven up the price of all the back issues.
Mm-hmm. So get the omnibus.
That's what I have. A matter of fact, that's one I started with the omnibuses. So I never got it until the very end. It wasn't until like issue 120. I'm like, I'm tired of waiting a year to read these. I want to put it on my pull list and read it month to month. And as soon as I did that, they're like, Invincible is going to end in 6 months. So I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to read it till the end as individual issues. Huh. Wonder how many it was selling at the end. But speaking of back issues,
it doesn't really matter because Invincible, like The Walking Dead, after a while, it's meant to be bought as graphic novels.
Yeah, well, I was just curious if it was going to end up being one of those where the later issues become more valuable
because you can't get them.
Because you can't get them, but I don't know. I don't know if that'll ever happen to Invincible. Like those issues of Spawn, sort of in the middle, became valuable because there was the circulation was always only 5,000.
Yeah.
I'm almost finished replacing all my Walking Deads that I sold.
Yeah.
This is issue number 7. And it's in pretty good shape. It was listed as a 9.0, but in looking at it, it looks better than that to me. And this is one of those, what was my estimate on this? I think my estimate on this was, where is that? Window. My estimate around issue 7 was around $75. That's what I estimated I'd have to pay for a good condition one, but I got this one for $54. Tax and shipping included. And one of the reasons I got it so cheaply is I took a chance on it. In that whoever was selling it had two pictures of it that weren't particularly good, and he had it listed at a 9.0, very fine, near mint. And I looked at the pictures and went, okay, I'll buy that one for $20 cheaper than I thought I was going to have to pay for it. And turned out it was a good deal, because this one's looks like a very sharp copy. All things considered, I'm happy with this one. And I only have issue 10 to go, and I've already got that one coming. So I'm done buying Walking Deads. I've got everything replaced, and I'm happy now. It actually made me happy to replace these Walking Deads, I have to say. I've been doing for these. I think I started it in August. Buying things doesn't always make me happy, but in this case, it did.
Have you thought about replacing your original Hulks with the Epic collections?
Yeah. I have digital versions of the Epic collections. I have done that because they've gone on sale on like Amazon for like $6 for an Epic collection digitally. And I never read them. I won't. I did go back in like the early 2000s. I went and replaced. Well, I didn't replace. I have both. I bought like mint condition copies of Hulk, like 190 through 210 or something, or 205 maybe. Just because my copies are so old and beat up, I don't remember them that way. I remember them as mint condition. But they were only like, at that point in time, those Hulks were like $5 a copy at most. They weren't even that expensive, so they were easy to replace with mint. If I were to do that today, I'd be looking at $20 a copy. So, how much money? Let me check my spreadsheet. It cost me to replace. Do I have them all? Oh, 7. What did I pay? Hold on, I got to enter 7 in. What did I pay? I just said $54. That's what I paid for that. 10 in there. Issues 3 through 49. So that's, what's 3? 46. I can't subtract 3 from 49. 46 Walking Dead comics. How much do you think that it in total cost me to replace that, Paolo? Do you have a guess?
About $350.
One issue 3 cost me $250.
Jesus.
It cost me about $1,500 to replace those comics, which I think was less than I sold them for.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big chunk of change.
Okay.
That's a big chunk of change. I'm finally not completely broke, so I wanted to spend a little money on something that made me happy. And that ended up being it. And I can always sell them. Let's see, I'll tell you the big ones. Of course, the early issues. It was issue 3 was $234. Issue 5 was $109. Issue 19 was $140. And I probably could have cut $200 off that price if I'd bought lots I saw in the very beginning. Like, you know how they say when you're looking to buy something, take your time, shop around, don't jump on the first deal you see. Well, in this case, the first deals I saw were the best deals I ever saw in terms, and there was like 3 lots. Issues 30 through 40. Issues like 20 through 30 minus issue 27, the first governor. Issues 20 through 30, issues 30 through 40, and issues 40 through 50. And they were about $75 to $80 a piece. I bought the middle one, issues 30, because like I said, I was just starting out. Issues 30 to 40, which was like the cheapest of the 3, and it was about $70, $80. So it was around $6 an issue, $7 an issue, I think it was, with tax and shipping. And I was just like, and I could have got all 3. But I was like, do I really know if this is a good deal? That I don't want to jump. And what I really should have done is jumped on all 3 and had issues 20 through 50 all done for $250. Because I probably spent an extra $100 buying them individually through shipping and tax and whatever. So that actually ended up costing me a bit of money, not jumping on them right away.
Donald Rex just ordered the last 2 Enrique Nieto Charlton horror comics. He's gonna put out a complete horror and war volume next month. Cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
doing collections of Charlton, you have to do them like this because
you need a theme.
Yeah,
you need a theme to get people interested, get yourself interested.
Yeah, and Enrique, and doing it by artists is interesting. You could just Ditko collections or Sanho Kim collections.
Huh.
Although a few of these are probably not in the public domain. The government says you're one of the most organized artists with budgets and files.
I've been doing this a long time. I got a budget.
I haven't.
I've been a freelancer my entire life, which means you got a budget, or you will go broke.
Spending big money on comics makes using them as coffee coasters just more pleasurable. Yeah.
That's the last big that is the most money I've ever spent on comics. Let's call it at one time. And I doubt it's happening again. Oh, I love Megalomaniacal Spider-Man. Love that. Megalomaniacal Spider-Man by Peter Bagge is probably my favorite mainstream book done by an indie creator. It is just so good. Have you ever read that one, Paolo?
No. I remember it in the stands, that and the Hulk one.
Yeah. The Hulk one's okay. I don't mind the Hulk one. But the Megalomaniacal Spider-Man one is just so good. It's Spider-Man adopting Ayn Rand's philosophy.
Yeah.
Peter Parker. And it's just so good. Love that one. Matter of fact, he mentioned it. I want to pull it off my shelf and read it again just because I enjoy it.
I do remember the Hulk one by James Kachalka.
I don't remember that one. But I've got a couple of them. What is the name of that book Marvel did that had all the indie creators doing their, like, Tales of Suspense or something? Like, it's like 20 years old now. They had a bunch of indie creators do like an anthology of their stuff.
Yeah,
I have the collected
I think the Hulk story was in one of those one-shot anthologies. Right. Yeah,
and they were all okay. Mm-hmm. Nothing really stood out to me as good, but it was kind of fun. It was all okay. I've done 6 romance collections under the radar. Yeah, they don't come looking for them. So
Yeah.
Huh.
Tales of the Weird,
Tales
was
of
that
the
it?
Weird. It
I
might
don't
be
remember
Tales
that.
of Suspense. I think. I can't even remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was not Strange Tales, that's for sure.
Oh no, maybe it was Strange Tales.
Yeah?
Now that you mention it, it could have been Strange Tales. I should walk into the other room and look. I think it's right in this shelf.
Hmm.
Hold on.
There he goes. Now I just opened the can of worms and we gotta close it.
It's Celots in our.
It's a
It
It is Strange Tales, yeah.
is Strange Tales. This is the one. Oh, it's got the Watcher. I think was their framing device. So this is all indie comic stuff. I'll have to check the year.
Yeah, that's the Kachalka story.
Yeah, that's the Hulk versus the Rain.
Because I bought a Kachalka comic because they published it here. He was invited. They did an art exhibit of his too. So I just bought it to see what it was about. I guess it did nothing for me. Yeah, that's more normal.
That is. There's is this megalomaniacal Spider-Man? Is that in here too?
Should be. Yeah, that's it.
I think that might be megalomaniacal Spider-Man. I didn't even realize that was in here. The Hulk riding a motorcycle. Let's see. Who's in here? This is from, what's the year on it? There's some contains material originally published in Strange Tales 1 to 3, Startling Stories, The Megalomaniacal Spider-Man, and All Select Comics 70th Anniversary Special. So this came out in 2012.
Been a while.
Have an index for us.
They should
Here
have.
we go.
Page 4, I guess.
Here we go. In the back, it's got biographies. Peter Bagg, Nick Bertozzi, Molly Crabapple, and John Leavitt, Nicholas Grunwich, Jason, James Kulchalka, Michael Kupperman, Junko Mizuno, Paul Pope, Johnny Ryan, Dash Shaw, Max Cannon, Jacob Chabot, my buddy Jacob, Jonathan Hickman, R. Kikuo Johnson, Tony Millionaire, Matt Kint, Jim Rugg, and Brian Maruka, Johan Vasquez, Jeffrey Brown, Chris Chua, Becky Cloonan, Paul Horschemeyer, Jonathan J. Lee, Corey Lewis, Stan Sakai, and Jay Stevens. So that's all the people in Tales of Suspense.
Yeah. Donald Rex says the DC version was Bizarro World.
Yes, I remember that one. That one got in trouble too and got like the first issue pulped, didn't it?
No, that was the Elseworlds 80-page giant. Because he had the Superman baby in the microwave.
I remember Bizarro World getting in trouble for something. I can't remember now what. Right, could be mixing it up.
The Goblin Loves the Bologna Man story.
Like I said, Megalomaniacal Spider-Man is one of my favorites.
Paul Preeter says, speaking of indie-type styles of mainstream heroes, I was going to pick up Sholey's Fantastic Four grand design, but the vintage-looking filter... I think the vintage-looking filter is what makes those stories stand out. At least
it makes them impossible to read. I can't stand it. That's why Which one do I have that I complain about? Not Tom Scioli, but what's his name? Who did the history of rap? Oh, cartoonist kayfabe.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, his name flew out of my head.
Yeah.
He's got the,
Ed Piscor.
Ed Piscor, Hip Hop Family Tree. Loved. First time I saw Ed Piscor was when he was publishing those digitally, Hip Hop Family Tree. Enjoyed them thoroughly. Decided to wait for the collected edition to come out because eventually he got picked up by Fantagraphics with that. Waited for the collected edition to come out. It came out. I can't read it. Literally, I can't read it. The printing is so bad, and it's got that aged filter on it that I can't even make out the lettering. I'm just like, So I've never read Hip Hop Family Tree, even though it's on my shelf, because I find it impossible to read. And
it looks very good in X-Men. Looks very good in X-Men Grand Design.
See, I don't like that stuff in general. It's just not my taste.
Which one was the Nick Gurich comic?
The Nick Gurich comic? I have no idea. Let's see. Let's see if it only gave us an index, we'd be okay, but it doesn't.
Should that be on page 3 or 4?
Nick Bertoli. You would think so, but it goes right into the comic.
Dang.
And it gives us credits for the editorial, but it never gives us credit. It gives us bios in the back.
Yeah, Piscor. Thanks, 62 Lefty Blues.
But it never gives us.
It's a painter, and it's only a few pages.
Yeah, that narrows it down to only a few pages.
They're all just a few pages.
Except for the Megalomaniacal Spider-Man.
Which is a one-shot.
Jonathan J. Lee, there's a painted one, at least digitally. Here's another painted one. Don't even say... here it is. Chris Chua. What did we said?
Nick Gurich.
Chris... I can't even... Chris something. C-L-U-A. I can't even read the name on it. Because it's just signed. But
he was looking for Nick Gurich.
Like, this may be Nick Gurich. I don't know. Let's see if there's another painted one. Because there's a signature on it that I can't make out. There's not always actual credit boxes. That's Matt Kint. I recognize him.
It says it's a Wolverine Beast comic.
Wolverine Beast.
There's something with X-Men in there.
I didn't even see any Wolverine Beast. Nick, let me see if his name is in the back. Or Max Cannon. Nicholas Gurewitch is the only Nick in this book.
Yeah.
Award-winning. He does the Perry Bible Fellowship. Okay. I know his stuff then. But I do not see Wolverine. Oh, is this? Michael Kupperman, Matt Kint. Where's Wolverine, damn it? That's Jacob Chabot. Recognize his stuff. Iron Man. There we go. The blue hair. It's not painted. It's black and white. It's only one page.
But it looks like, is that watercolors?
Don't think so. No, it's pen and ink. With a little blue cross hatching. Strange Tales.
Yeah, it's but that thing's a good experiment to do every once in a while. But
Yeah, I think so too. I'm usually disappointed with them, but I still like to see them. I
yeah,
still like to see those indie guys get a little mainstream work.
yeah. This reminds me of when we had the exhibit for Will Eisner's 100th birthday, and we had Dennis Kitchen over, and we talked a little bit about the indie comic he did for Marvel back in the 70s. Yeah, but it didn't last because all of the regulars were complaining about all of the hippies getting special treatment because they kept the rights to everything.
Yep.
And they could do whatever they wanted and not care about. No, but it was code approved. Because Marvel still had to distribute. Yeah.
There was a volume 2 also. Oh, Comics Book. That was the one Flo Steinberg
Comics book. Yeah.
edited. But no, that was New York City Comics, the one that Flo. Comics Book was the underground mainstream one that Marvel
Yeah, the
did.
Dennis with Dennis Kitchen at the
Right.
Yeah, he told me that it wasn't actually that difficult to get everyone together to produce the comic because they were actually good at drawing on time.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not that they were all spazzing out.
Right. They weren't all on drugs all the time. They were earning a living making comics.
Mm-hmm.
But since Marvel treated them fairly, it got everybody else upset.
Yeah. Of course, also that came out in '74, and Cadence had just completed full ownership of Marvel. So it's not like they would be in a mind to give all of the
treat people fairly.
Yeah.
Comics Book. Yep, that was the name of it. Yeah, I was confusing it for a minute with, I think it's New York Comics was the name of the one that Flo Steinberg edited and got the guys together to put out an issue of. About the same time, I think it was. It was after she left staff at Marvel, maybe in the early 70s.
Yeah. But I guess the other guys were right. I mean, even Dennis Kitchen understood that it was a political decision, and it wouldn't be fair for all the other guys. Marvel is not going to give somebody like Rich Buckler a fair deal to keep the rights.
No.
And if we consider that there had been a few guys who had quit Marvel because of that, like the guy who did Doctor Strange with Steve Englehart.
Marshall Rogers?
No, in the 70s.
Brunner?
Yeah, Frank Brunner.
Frank Brunner?
Yeah, because Frank Brunner wanted rights to the stuff, and he already quit Marvel by then, man. So it wasn't going to happen. So I guess I understood. And the market conditions were not good for it until they had an outlet with Epic Illustrated and selling mostly in the direct market. It would not have happened. Of course, what should have happened is if they had done that right from the beginning in the 1930s, that conversation would not have to be done in the 70s and 80s.
Yep. But greed is greed, and it's not going away. And people with money think they create stuff. That's one of the problems too. They think since they have the money and are paying for the business that they're the creators of it. And so therefore should own it. That's a very common mindset amongst the people, amongst business people. They think, I'm the one who created Superman. I own it. Or I was just seeing that that handbook of how to make comics that Stan Lee made in the 50s.
Yeah.
That talked all about how Martin Goodman created Superman.
Captain America.
Captain America, duh.
Yeah.
Captain America. Yeah.
I'll pull the stories from real life.
Since he paid for it, he's therefore is the creator. Here's what you should do. Frank Brunner. Yep. I always want to say Scott Brunner, who's a Giants quarterback from the 80s, who wasn't even around very long. But I think he's the only other Brunner I've seen name of. Another comic I got this week is The War, issue number 3 by
War?
Garth Ennis, Becky Cloonan, Tamara Bonvillain.
The War. What is it good for?
Absolutely nothing. And this series makes that very clear. This is the third and last issue. And it is dark and gruesome. They give us some pinups in the middle, too, that are pretty cool. The story basically is about a bunch of New Yorkers. I think, one I think is English. I don't even, they're living in Manhattan. I don't even know if they're native New Yorkers. Not that that really matters to the story, but it kind of matters to their transitory nature. But the war in between Russia and Ukraine has gotten out of hand, and nuclear bombs have gone off over lots of cities, including New York. So it's just kind of like the aftermath of a nuclear bomb hitting New York. And I think there's a little story in the back of the creation of the book with Becky, what it says, somewhere. It said, this is written by someone named Bryce Carson. Maybe he's the editor. Going back to early 2023, Garth and I had been chatting for a few years and waiting to find something to work on together when I told him I was looking for something dark. And you say that to Garth Ennis. He replied with the absolute perfect answer. I've been thinking about something particularly nasty recently, and this just might be perfect for it. And then I think at one point they were talking to Becky Cloonan. I've known Becky for years, and then we'd worked on covers together, but it was the first time we had the opportunity to work on a story, same as Garth, and it ended up being a beautiful nightmare come true. Let's see. I'll never forget as we finished part 1, Garth saying, Becky, let's do a comedy next. And Becky replying, Garth, have no fear. I am in my element, cackling all the way to part 7. She wasn't joking. When Becky started working on part 7, she did the back half first. And that's a small look at the shared madness we all endured while putting the war together. Want me to tell you the gruesome ending of it?
Yeah.
Why not? Who here is going to read it just because I'm...
Okay. Spoilers, let's give 30 seconds to the guys to...
When I put the comic down, I'll stop having talked about it. So if you want to read this and don't want the ending spoiled, wait till I put the comic down. So anyway, nuclear war hits. We see our different factions in New York. Different things have happened. Some people died in the city. This one couple made it up to this cabin in the woods with a friend of theirs. And the woman was pregnant. There, I think she's holding a baby there. Baby was born stillborn. Last issue ended with these guys with guns outside their cabin. This issue started with all those guys dead because radiation poison killed them. They were just in the point of radiation poison killing you where you suddenly get some energy. So they went, because your body is flooding you with endorphins before you die. So they said, let's go out and see what we can find. They went out. There's one guy still alive outside the door talking to the guy inside. It's crazy. So then we've got the husband and the wife and the dead baby in the cabin. If they go outside, they're going to die of radiation poisoning. The wife finally snaps, and the husband looks over, and she's outside burying the baby. And he's just like, oh, crap. So then the husband's in the cabin for a while longer, and he snaps. And he's like, I guess, too hungry. So we end on the panel of the husband went outside and dug up the baby to eat it. And that's how the story ends.
Hmm.
With the husband eating his dead baby.
Yeah. Gore Vidal says he's been enjoying more grim stuff like the British on Threads.
Yes. It's a gruesome, gruesome ending. I'll put this away now, and anybody who wasn't listening can come back and listen. But good book, but gruesome. I mean, it was not a pick-me-up. It's definitely but I'm a big Becky Cloonan fan, and I'm hit or miss with Garth Ennis, but that one was good. I enjoyed that. Have you read any Garth Ennis that you like?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
He did a not Fanamigo, not the Red Baron, the Aviator, the World War I Aviator
Oh yeah,
one.
I have a vague memory of that.
From the sea. He did a version of that for Vertigo as a one shot, and I think it's very good art as well. And I like that one because I think he tried to make the character sound more German because that's what he's supposed to be. Enemy Ace, that was the name.
Enemy Ace, that's it, right?
Yeah.
And like I've been buying, who was it? Garth Ennis and Jason Burrows. They've done a couple of, I think, 3 series now. That's an automatic buy for me because I like Jason Burrows' art. I think they work well together. Sounds like a fun, light read. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's Garth Ennis, fun and light.
What was that one he did with Amanda Connor years and years ago?
The Pro.
Just a Pilgrim? Oh, the Pro too. Did Amanda Connor do Just a Pilgrim, or was that someone else?
I think it was someone
and
else.
Amanda Connor did the Pro. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was someone else. Yeah, it's solid. Solid.
Yeah, Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe was a fun light read. Of course, the fact that Garth Ennis once did Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe should told you that you do not want to hire Garth Ennis to work on Marvel Comics. But no. Would you like to do a Spider-Man story? No, I don't want to do a Spider-Man story. I'm Garth Ennis.
What was his big 90s book that I didn't like? Did he do Hitman or Preacher?
He did Hitman, yeah.
Okay.
A couple of years. He started a couple of years before he did Preacher. Because Hitman was in the DCU and Preacher was Vertigo.
Okay. I never liked either of those, so I didn't get into his 90s stuff very much.
Well, they're kind of different. I mean, Hitman, I guess, since Hennis doesn't like superheroes, he wanted to do a character who is in a universe where everything is clean and wholesome, and he wanted a guy that was a killer and the drunkard.
Mm-hmm.
And Preacher, that's just his natural dissatisfaction with religion.
Yep. Huh.
Donald Rex says Marjorie Finnegan was pretty good. What's that one?
I don't know that one.
Marjorie Finnegan.
Don't think I've seen Marjorie Finnegan. Is it a Charlton? Is it a Garth Ennis Charlton book? Imagine
Marjorie
that.
Finnegan. Marjorie Finnegan, Temporal Criminal.
Okay. That sounds once you put Temporal Criminal after it, it sounds familiar, but I don't think I've read it.
It's from AWA.
Ah.
Art by Goran Sujuka. Okay. Yeah, time travel. Mm-hmm.
Want to see a few Wonder Woman covers by Brian Bolland?
Let's go.
I'll pull out 3 of them. These are the ones that are now that I pulled out of my garage. They were from Jerry in his collection.
Yeah, I remember that one. Mm-hmm.
This is number 0, October 94.
Yeah, I think I have that in the Brazilian comic somewhere.
That's a nice screaming one. If this were done a few years later, we'd have a special effect in that burst rather than it being drawn. But once again, his line is really pretty light. It's a little heavier here than I've seen, but he's got shadows in this one. But his hatching is really just not even cross hatching. It's just hatching. Little cross hatching right there, but
Yeah.
most of the time it's just hatching and feathering. Then we've got, and kids, don't keep your comics out in the garage because this one's turning yellow. Wonder Woman 63, June 92. That what I'd call this that sort of George Perez is silky black blobby hair.
Uh-huh.
You can see his imagery is pretty his line is a lot less complicated than I remember it being.
Yeah.
The thrilling
Although
conclusion to Wonder Woman special number
although
one.
there is one thing that I got used to seeing in Wonder Woman is that the costume was redesigned that as light armor,
Yeah.
and that still looks like a bathing suit. So
Yeah. That definitely is bathing suit-ish. Then let's go with, what do we got here? Wonder Woman 64, July 92. Bang. That kid's a little crazy looking. I wonder if I bet he hand lettered that bang bang. Because that doesn't look like a professional letterer's bang bang.
no.
But once again, his line work is a lot simpler than I remembered it in my mind.
Yeah.
But his drawing is terrific. There's a good use of rim lighting there.
Right, and the shadow is only shadow.
Yeah.
It's not there to make it three-dimensional, and it
No.
doesn't need to either, which is
No.
not easy to do.
There's a lot more graphic design in it than I thought, than I remembered. That hand has the most cross hatching in it.
Yeah,
And even that's
that's
not a
good.
ton.
Yeah, but that's good because it's a man's hand, so it makes more sense to be cross-hatched.
Yeah. All right, there's the first three of them. I'll show you some more as we go on.
Tit Goblin says, "Read 66, Rip 64, Slab 0." Captain, those letters aren't even CMYK.
Sure. Nope. Whoa. Don't tip over all my comics.
Your drunk comics go home. But they're already home. That's kind of funny because I never really cared for Wonder Woman solo.
No.
And I see a lot of people who like pre-crisis Wonder Woman right at the end of the original chronology. But I guess the only point where Wonder Woman was really readable on the long run was in post-crisis, even though that kind of ruined the chronology for the Justice League.
To me, Wonder Woman has always been a more important sort of social figure than a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time in my childhood Wonder Woman was readable was when Gene Colan was drawing it in the early 80s. I read some of that Wonder Woman. It was okay. I ain't telling you it was great. But at least it was readable. That was the only time I only read Wonder Woman regularly for any length of time, a year maybe. Have you ever seen those issues?
I don't remember them.
They're fine. It's Gene
Yeah.
Colan in the early 80s.
At that stage, Wonder Woman stories would appear in. Yeah, I wouldn't buy that. No, wait. They probably appear in Superman, not in Heroes in Action. Because the problem with when Abril took over DC from Ebal, because Ebal was the long running DC publisher. They had been for over 30 years, and in 1983, Abril finally managed to buy the rights to publish DC alongside Marvel. They started with Superman. Then they did, but the for the early years, the anthologies didn't have set characters. They could jump unless they were the main character in the book. If the book was not named after a character, the features would jump from one comic to the next. And at DC, that happened a lot, especially with the traditional heroes, because not every story was a continuing story. Yeah, I remember the guy who was one of the editors. He was actually the one in charge of translation. At the time, he was a dentistry student. Yeah. You remember that the Brazilian publisher who had been the long-running publisher for Disney in both Brazil and Argentina, because one of the brothers stayed in Brazil and the other one in Argentina. They were Italian immigrants. Since Disney didn't have continuing stories, they wanted Marvel and DC to function the same way. But we're talking 1979, so we're going to go with 70 stories, and everything is continuing in the 1970s.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing something from the black and white magazines. So it didn't work, and the two of them had the editors who got together to produce the comics. They had a hard time convincing the publishers that no, this has to be continued from over here to here. But people are not going to understand. That's okay. We'll make them understand, and especially because everything was out of order, so they had to create their own inner chronology. But at Marvel, it stabilized much earlier than DC, and until Crisis, everything would jump around, and it was published out of order, and so Wonder Woman, I would not have got it at the time.
No Gene Colan Wonder Woman for you.
No Gene Colan Wonder Woman, but yes, Gene Colan Tomb of Dracula.
Yep. Oh, another new thing in the comic shop this week was there's a new distributor. I can't remember their name. But since Diamond went out of business, of course, and Lunar and Penguin picked up a lot of their business, but that left the small press out in the cold.
Yeah.
So this other distributor popped up, and they're going to be distributing small press books once a month.
Okay.
So my comic shop got a bunch of small press books in. So many so that he said he's going to put out like A to N this month and P to Z next week. He's like going to split them up into weeks. But one of the problems I noticed with these small press books is that some of them didn't have prices on them.
Ooh.
And I think it must be because they were originally Kickstarters. Because that's what happens. They kickstart some books and then they distribute them to the comic shops after they're kickstarted. But I think some of them must have not had them going to comic shops in mind. Because I'm looking at the comics going, there's no at least half of them. There was maybe a dozen small press books out this week at my local comic shop. New ones I'd never seen before. And out of the dozen, probably at least 6 of them didn't have prices on them. And I'm just like, that's just annoying. Because I don't want to guess what price I'm going to pay for this. I want it to be an actual price. As a matter of fact, I actually pre-ordered these. They came from the distributor. They're Plan 79. from Outer Space, issues 1 and 2. And I think they were Kickstartered first. That's why there's 2 issues out. And I actually picked these up because I know one of the writers, Mike Dolce. I picked up other comics of his. He does a book called The Sire. And he's also done, this is Plan 79. I also picked up a series like last year called Plan 59 from Outer Space. So it takes place in the Plan 9 from Outer Space universe. I got to say, the lettering on this was particularly good. I noticed that. Who's doing the lettering? Anton Polkhovsky. Polkhovskyi. SKYI, that's Sky Eye. Anton Polkhovsky.
Skip. You have to pronounce it. Skip.
Oh no, he did. Pardon me. He did the colors.
Okay.
The design isn't great. Invisible Art Studio, Sir Hill. Oh, same. He comes from the same place as the colorist. Yarovyi. Yarovyi. But this was a good book. I think
let me see those names. Let me see those names so I can so I can help you pronounce them. Because those look Ukrainian. All right. So Anton Polkhovsky. It's Skip. Anton Polkhovsky and Sergei Yarovyi. Sergei Yarovyi.
Interesting.
You will have no idea how to pronounce them next week.
No, I have no idea how to pronounce them now. And you just told me.
Yarovyi.
But this is by, who is it? Dren Publications, and it's also Mike Dolce's is Dren Publications Limited Live, and Mike Dolce at Sire Studios. I think he's got Mike Books as his. But the one that came, there's also going to be a Plan 69 from Outer Space at some time. But like Plan 59 from Outer Space was the 59th. There's this, whoever the Plan 9 people are, I don't think I've ever seen that whole movie. It's a famously bad movie. But they've been trying to wipe out life on Earth because humans are so dangerous. And I think Plan 59, they may have succeeded. They introduced like a zombie virus on Earth. So that one was all about humans fighting zombies for survival. This one is more straight sci-fi. It takes like place 30 years after the last one, and humans have spaceships now. And they're going out to this planet to try and find a new home planet to live on. And the artwork's okay, but the storytelling is really good. Like what this artist, story script, Javier Ortiz, is a really good storyteller. So it's one of those where I flip the pages and I go, the art's okay. But when I'm reading it, I'm really enjoying it. So I think this is the best stuff I've seen from Mike Dolce. And like I said, it's pretty much a straight sci-fi story where these humans are on their spaceship. They got some sort of warp drive. They're trying to make it to this other planet to see. They're scouting planets to see if they can move there. But as they're like, shouldn't we wait for backup? And they're like, we don't have time. These guys are trying to kill us. We have to find a planet soon. It's like, well, we've got a base on Mars, so maybe we can have them help us. But like, we have to go now. So they ended up going, and as they warped near this planet they were checking out, some sort of meteor storm hit them. And they're like, where did this come from? We checked for meteor storms. There's supposed to be nothing here. So there's panic. They end up crash landing on this planet. Turns out this planet already has inhabitants who take them prisoner. And it turns out the Plan 9 people have followed them there to try and, because they still want to kill all the humans because they think humans are just freaking dangerous. So now we have a setup where the humans were taken captive by these natives of this planet. The natives help them, who are called Terrans for some reason. That I just remembered that. The other planet is called Terran something, but the people on it are called Terrans. I'm like, aren't that what human beings are called sometimes in science fiction?
Yeah.
Terrans? So that confused me a little bit. But they ended up trying to team up with the natives, wanted to team up with them to take out the Plan 9 people, but the Plan 9 people were getting the better of them. But I really enjoyed that. I have to say, these are the most enjoyable stuff I've read by Mike Dolce stuff so far. So they were good. I recommend if you want some fun sci-fi-ish stuff, Plan 79 from Outer Space. It's a good $6 an issue. That's pretty much what I expect from these small indie companies now who Kickstarter stuff. $6 an issue is about normal, I'd say.
How many pages of story do they have?
Let's see. Let me open it up. Got good
That
cover
also
stock
helps.
too.
Yeah, but that also helps,
Yeah.
with the economics.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Only 20 pages.
Ah.
It's a 24-page with some ads in the back. So.
And it's $6.
They got to figure they're doing this all on their own and financing it all on their own.
I
So.
suppose, yeah. That logo, yeah. It's does it have an editor credit somewhere?
Oh yeah, I think. What's his name? Mike Dolce. There's not an editor, but I think James Masia, Mascia. I think he's James Masia is the Dren Productions LLC. So James Masia is the owner of Dren Productions. So I know he and Mike are just publishing the stuff themselves. So they kickstart it, and then it gets to the comic shops. And I think I've got an issue 3 on pre-order too. But I would much rather pay $6 at the comic shop than $15 at the Kickstarter, because shipping is always so expensive. So I'm glad these are making it to the comic shop. Well, I've got to say those were good comics. Because sometimes you get this small press stuff, and it's good for small press. Those were actually good comics.
Right? Yeah.
Hey, look,
if you want
Paolo is slumming it with us in the chat.
Yeah.
Letting them
I
know that
was.
that's Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Want to see
And not every self-published, not every self-publisher has money to do a good quality comic.
No, they do not. Some are just getting by. And I've mentioned before that there's a style of artwork in indie books that I call just get it done. Where they're not trying to make it perfect. They're just trying to get it done. There's not enough money in this for us to make it perfect. We got to move on with our day. Just get it done. Though that wasn't that. This art was actually pretty good. Like I said, the storytelling is what I really enjoyed, because sometimes you flip through a comic and the art doesn't grab you, but when you actually read the comic, it does. And that was one of those cases. When I actually read the comic, it grabbed me, which is always good.
They charge $3 for the digital version on their website.
That's not bad. I'd pay $3 for a digital version. I'm okay with that. I've paid $6 for a digital version on some Kickstarters. All the Kickstarter comic stuff I've done in the last 2 years has been digital versions. Just because, matter of fact, I just backed Jimmy Palmiotti's latest. I can't remember what it is, but I think it was $10 for the digital version. But it was like a graphic novel, not a single comic.
They have the rights to reprint AXA.
To reprint what?
AXA. You remember AXA? A
Oh,
British.
AXA.
Yeah,
Who has the rights to it? Dren?
they do. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't realize that. I think I've
they
seen some of those.
yeah they have it in the on their website.
Oh, look at that.
AXA, two issue, three issues of AXA Classics. So they're reprinting the original ones. $10.
For the digital version?
No, for the print version.
Or the print version. Not bad. I think I saw one of those in the comic shop a couple months ago, but I didn't. I think it was too expensive for me, so I was like, eh.
Some parodies here: Cowgirls versus Zombies, Dungeons and Dimwits,
He's trying.
Flash hitting
He's
cheerleaders
trying.
from outer space.
He's trying.
The Tales of the Bizarre. And the Edgar Allan Poe Chronicles. That looks like an anthology graphic novel because it's on sale for $17.
Oh.
So it's probably 64 pages or something.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they have 20 plus creators. I'm working on this project. Nice.
Wow.
And they have a superhero called the Sire. So indie comics creators are getting AI assistance for the art because it's good, fast, and cheap.
Well, it depends on what they're doing with it.
Yeah, if you in some case you really can't trust the prompts to work.
I know
So
people
the
have
idea,
like you couldn't
yeah,
get AI. You couldn't actually. It'd be very difficult to get AI to draw clothing correctly for every panel. But if you're going to use
yeah,
it for references for human figures or something, that might make sense.
mhm,
Like lay the whole thing out in AI and then draw over top of it. But I
yeah,
don't think you can expect AI. I know they've been working on it though, some places, to like input characters and then just say output me a comic.
hmm.
I don't know. I don't think they're there yet for that. But I've messed around with AI and it's disturbingly good just for like doing illustrations and things. It's like disturbingly good. Here's something I printed out this week. If you remember this cover, Rocket to the Moon. I think it was Joe Orlando. It was on one of our Reed Rippin slabs. And I just kind of
Yeah,
sometimes, when I see a cover that kind of catches my eye or something, I go online and find like a digital version of it and upscale it and, correct the coloring. Correct some of the aging a little bit and make myself a printout just for the heck of it. Just because I'm never going to spend money on the comic. So I just kind of liked the cover. So I'm like, you know what? I'll spend some time making myself a printout of it. So I got a Rocket to the Moon print. I actually did it a few weeks ago and finally printed it out yesterday. But a fun cover. Do you remember that one, Paolo?
yeah.
Yeah. A fun
In
cover.
conjunction with the human heart, it's his best.
So I heard. Yeah.
Look,
You
but
need
here's the thing.
somebody
Let's say
running the
you,
show.
yeah, but let's say you don't want to draw backgrounds.
Yep.
That thing will do the backgrounds and it'll just draw the figures. The
But
storytelling elements will be drawn by you.
the problem is you'd have to take the time to describe the backgrounds.
Yeah.
And you need the backgrounds to be it would be a lot of writing to make a comic book with AI. Because it takes a bit of writing to tweak one AI illustration to get it just how you want. Picture doing that 6 times a page for 20 pages. You're now spending your time writing to the A, and it may be faster than drawing. I don't know, but getting it just how you want it, that's a little tougher. So I'm not sure how that would. You'd have to be a good writer to do that, and a writer is going to figure it out, not an artist. The latest David Lapham is out this week too.
Nice.
Double-sized, issue number 2, double priced, $8. And it's a square-bound book. So it's probably 48 pages. Good. David Lapham, Maria Lapham, D. Cunife. I don't know how to say that one. Cunnife. I don't know if the E is pronounced or not. I don't know if it's D. Cunife or D. Cunife. And this is Lapham's classic 8 panels a page style. This is what he did Stray Bullets in. It's another crime fiction book, and it's terrific. It's the story of corruption in a small town and a sheriff who's been poisoned and is trying to solve the case before he dies. And it's really got lots of... And what's interesting, too, stylistically, lots of rain in this. And when they're out in the rain goes right over the word balloons. Right through the word balloons. Okay. So he's really giving you a feel of rain in this one. Rain going right over the word balloons.
Mm-hmm.
I found that an interesting technique. But I've been enjoying this. I'm enjoying it more than the last David Lapham story I read, which I can't remember the name of now. The one that took place in LA in the sewers and was some kind of bank heist. I'm preferring this one. So it's been good so far.
Okay.
I need to reference Sharon Stone in her police interview in Basic Instinct, but in the 1960s Starfleet uniform.
But how is she standing? Is she sitting? What's the background? There's so much that goes into it.
And you need
if
to
you
use,
want to get one.
What you need is computing power, because the more things you add to the prompt, the more it will confuse the AI. Because even though you have separators, the AI is going to start mixing the...
Oh, yeah. I've certainly seen that. The
So I've
simpler
done
you
things.
Keep it.
I asked for black hair, and because I did not describe the color of the clothing, it gives me black clothing. But then the hair is not black.
And getting sort of complex, intertwined figures like you do in especially superhero comics is very difficult for the AI.
And there's no point. And even if you put in a negative prompt, no merged arms, no merged legs, no.
It's tough. It does not do that very well.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, it's a lot better now than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
5 years ago, those
things
things
better
looked
than
like...
it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, because those things used to look like nightmares.
Yeah. I liked it better when they looked like nightmares. It was easier to dismiss.
Mm-hmm. A human artist with a pen and a Photoshop subscription is still essential. Yeah.
Yup. Let's pull out 3 more Wonder Womans. 1, 2, 3. Some more Brian Boland. We've got Wonder Woman 65, August 92. This one's pretty wild. Through the Looking Glass Darkly.
Mm-hmm. And let's turn them into Reed Rip and slabs.
Okay. Once again, little rim lighting on the chest. Very good. Is that Wonder Girl down there? Is that one? Who's got the picture? Because there's a teddy bear. There's a picture of Wonder Woman autographed
Yeah.
on the. But once again, look at that. Look at how simple his lines are.
Mhm.
Nice,
Oh,
but his drawing skill with those simple lines is true. Little hatching in the hand to give it some life.
Joey Cavalieri and Parrots Cullens inside.
Yup. Cavalieri, Cullens, and Campanella.
Robert
I think that's a
Campanella.
pretty good one.
Mhm.
Let's see what
Look at
else
the
do we
detail.
have.
Look at the detail on that hair. On
But it's
everyone's
really
hair.
just simple lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. It's not like overly complicated hair. It's just he's so good at picking out those shapes. That inky George Perez hair, I always think of. Yeah. This one's nice, issue 66, September 92. Lobes. Cullen and stuff. There she is. And I think she lost her powers somewhere around this time, because somewhere there's a cover that says back with her powers. But he keeps her face fairly simple. There's some hatching in the musculature and collarbones. You know, he draws very specific faces for like that scientist back there. Keeps the spacesuit simple, but with some nice seams and hatching. That one's another pretty cool one. Journey to the Stars. Then we've got 67, October 92. We've got Ugly Wonder Woman, so no one's going to like this. She's beaten
Well,
up with a slave collar on.
are those chains better than Todd's chains?
Oh, yeah. These are illustrative chains. There's no graphic design here. Notice how they're bending in space. Those are not graphic design chains at all. Let's see his chains over here. They're bending in space too. Yeah, he's drawn real chains. If you were to draw those chains on Spawn every panel, it would take you forever.
Almost looks like a Steve Dillon face in there.
Yeah, I can
wonder if
see what you
Steve
mean.
I wonder if Steve Dillon was ever Bolland's assistant or something.
Mm-hmm. Look how simple the legs are. He can find that one line he needs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, skeletons in the background. Oh, so let me hold up our reed ripping slab.
Do you guys
Here we go.
Do you guys want to read Rip or Slab Annie? I'm going
Reed
to
ripping
read.
slab.
So those are issues what?
65, 66, and 67.
Okay.
So this is 65 over here. That's the mirror. And then 66 is in the middle and 67 is at the end.
Yeah, I'm going to read 67, Rip 65, and Slab 66.
I think that's the right. I think you got. No one likes Wonder Woman all ugly. So that one's definitely going to be the Rip one. I mean, it's just. I think this one might be the prettiest. The middle one is the prettiest cover because we get Wonder Woman showing off her cleavage. Mm-hmm. And this one's got the most. This one's got the most story in it.
Mm-hmm. The dolphin replaces the spaceship.
I'm putting the dolphin in chains right here because we shouldn't have a woman in chains. That's just wrong. France wouldn't like that.
And I'm going to put the flamingos on the skeletons.
In the back there.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the flamingos in the mirror. They're going to be looking out at maybe like right down there. They'll be eyeballing us at
Or
the
they could
bottom
look
of
at
the
each other.
mirror. Going, hey, how did we get in here? But I think this one is, definitely the one to slab.
Yeah. Also, we
Without
get
a doubt.
a black comics code seal.
Missing Mars doesn't want to play our game.
Yeah. Fred Turk, is anything new on the cross-gen collection, or have you read any more?
I got that sigil last week, but I haven't started reading it.
Mhm.
That's the only
Missing-
thing new. Slab
Missing Mars,
never, Rich
that's
never.
that is not the game. The
You
game
either play the
is
game or you're not
yes.
playing the game.
Captain Fish says Bolland did one cover for Laser Eraser and Press Button, so he was at least aware of Steve Dillon.
Oh, that's right. I remember that cover now. I think
Well,
I
they were
bought
kind
that.
of they were kind of contemporary in the UK scene because I think Bolland reached the US first.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I just don't know when's the order in which they began writing and drawing and getting famous, because we still see them through the American publication lens.
Yeah.
So we don't know. It's like Steve Moore. Steve Moore was definitely better known in the UK than he was in the US.
Huh.
Well, as a Renaissance artist to the future.
For our delight.
And so he can complain, they're not paying me enough for this.
Now let's have an episode of What the Heck Is This cover? Rogue Sun number 30.
What the hell? Is that Spawn?
That is a Spawn. I can barely make out what's going on. I think that's one of the Rogue Suns up there.
Mm-hmm.
This cover is such a mishmash. But as we flip it open, we can see Medieval Spawn or someone. So I guess that is him. It is really hard to tell. But this was pretty interesting. Oh, well, we can see the wrinkles in it from it being oversaturated on super cheap paper.
Mm-hmm.
But since Rogue Sun has been around forever as different sort of characters in the Rogue, sort of like Spawn there's been different people who have been Spawn over the centuries. Different people have been Rogue Sun too. So this is a flashback story to medieval Spawn and the Rogue Sun of that time teaming up. Though what's weird is at the end it says to be continued in Medieval Spawn and Rogue Sun 2026. What does that mean?
Oh.
Because it also says somewhere in here, next issue Rogue Sun in stores November 2025. So clearly it's not continuing in the next issue of Rogue Sun. And is it continuing in Medieval Spawn? I don't think so. Is there going to be a mini series called Medieval Spawn and Rogue Sun in 2026? That's nearest I can figure out. That's what it is.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure.
That's how I'd read it.
Yeah, but I'm just like, what? Why would you give me a story that's not going to be continued for 3 months in a whole other book? I just found that a little weird.
Yeah.
And will Medieval Spawn have a story about it? Who knows?
Wait, is there a medieval Spawn? There's no medieval Spawn comic right now.
Is there? I don't know.
No,
There's like 6
no.
Spawn comics. What are they? I don't know. Gunslinger Spawn?
Yeah,
Spawn?
Spawn.
Hold on, do I
Spawn,
did-
Spawn, Spawn, Spawn,
Spawn,
Spawn,
Spawn,
Spawn,
Spawn, Spawn, Spawn. I do have the latest issue of Spawn, which is just this issue didn't do much for me. And once again, that cover's a bit vague.
And
Um,
Rogue Sun is not mentioned anywhere, so it doesn't have anything to do with this Spawn.
I skipped this whole page.
Those pictures are new, aren't they?
Yeah, I just skipped them. There's no reason to read them. And there was a lot of Spawn outside his uniform in this, outside his costume. Then I think that someone's trying to bring back the King of Hell, who's Male Burgo or something. I can't remember his name now. Because I think that had something. It's like the first time I've ever noticed his name. The King of Hell. It's Malebolgia. Malebolgia. I think he's the
Malebolgia.
original Satan, King of Hell.
Yeah,
And they're trying to
Malebolgia.
bring Malebolgia. And it was just okay. There was for some reason there's a bunch of people experimenting on vampires. There we go. They're trying to figure out what makes vampires tick, so they don't. These are humans and like monsters teaming up to figure out what makes vampires tick. And Spawn breaks in, kills all the guards, and tells them they've got to sew vampire wings on his back. I don't know, so he can get to hell or something. So it ends with Spawn having vampire bat wings sewn onto his back.
Wait, can't his cape just transmogrify into?
Yes. There was some crazy reason for it. I don't know why. Oh. Here we go. They said, we were just following orders. I don't give a shit. And all I know is when Blood finds out someone decided to dissect a couple of his soldiers, he'll blot out the sky with an army so big that there'll be nothing left of any of you. And the funny part is, you're all going to help me deliver that message. How's that? By operating on me. Now give me those wings. It's not possible. Make it possible. So I guess he had them sewed on to send a message to Blood, who's the king of the vampires? I don't know.
Okay.
But we do have who's in Spawn's universe. Spawn, King Spawn, Scorched, and Gunslinger Spawn. So you're right, there is no medieval Spawn right now. I guess in 2026 we'll get medieval Spawn Rogue Sun.
But SBPT says he thinks the medieval Spawn appears in Curse of Shirley.
Okay. That one wasn't listed here, but yeah.
Don't call me Shirley.
And stop calling me Shirley. Huh. Spawn.
Yeah,
I think that was the last of the comics I got this week.
So, but I guess we'll wait. Will you buy Rogue Sun or Medieval Spawn?
Yeah, I'll probably give it a look. Why not? Depends on who does it.
Yeah. Spawn event. When was the last time you bought an event?
Last time, you know when the last time I bought an event was? Just because, when was it? It was the right before the Image Renaissance, which I say happened with Saga #1, even though there were some good books out slightly before that. To me, that was the beginning of Saga #1. Was the beginning of the Image Renaissance, where all of a sudden there was a lot of Image books that I liked. For a few years before that, I was trying out a lot of new things, trying to find some comics I liked. There was like weeks I went to the comic shop and picked up 1 or 2 because there was just nothing. And so I started trying some DC comics at that time. It was right before the New 52. And I bought some of, what was it called? Flashpoint?
Mm-hmm.
I think I bought the whole Flashpoint 5 or 6 issue series, then maybe an issue or 2 here. And that might be the only crossover event I've ever bought. But I was just like, there's nothing for me to buy. Let me try this. All right, I'll buy. I was like, you know what? Since there's nothing for me to buy, I will buy this Flashpoint. I'll have to go back in time to my comics I bought this week and see what was coming out at that time. I don't, like I said, I don't think I was like Usagi. I was still getting. There was a few other of my regulars, but there were so few comics that I liked at that time. Mm-hmm. And I hate going to the comic shop and only getting 1 comic. That's also why I was trying out a lot of collected editions. Which is why
isn't your comic shop within walking distance?
No. 20-minute drive. No comic shops within there's no walking in these suburbs, first of all. I mean, I go for walks, sure. But nothing is in walking distance in the suburbs in the good old USA. They're built to have to drive everywhere.
Oh, we just have 120 houses in a row before we get to the store.
Yeah. That's how it is. I could walk to a 7-Eleven. That's about it. If I were to walk to the supermarket, there's no sidewalks. And the supermarket is probably 3 miles away. So it would be a good half-hour walk there and back. Yeah, there's nothing walking distance in the U.S. suburbs. That's one of the biggest complaints about the U.S. suburbs.
You guys need better urban planning.
Well, the USA is also huge.
Yeah. Doesn't mean you have to fill it up.
It was easier to build roads and build houses out there.
That's never easier. The easier is
Oh,
to build a three. Is to build a three-story condo.
Racism is involved.
It's easier to build a 3-story condo and have everybody park in the street.
There's a lot of that going on these days too. But that just makes too many people live in the area.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a city in every place you have to drive to. So now you've got a condo full of people who all have to drive. That's one of the big urban planning problems around here too, because they want to put up concentrated housing, but the roads can't handle it. And you need the roads.
Well, just do what we do. We park on the sidewalk where the people are supposed to walk.
I've got sidewalks on my road, but most roads do not have sidewalks. No sidewalk.
Because 75 years ago, nobody parked on the sidewalks. But 75 years ago, people couldn't afford cars. So now we all park on the sidewalk. But it's okay because at 2 a.m, no one's actually walking on the street.
No. No one walking on the street. And here's something I started.
I have the paddle club right behind me. So everybody who comes to the paddle club parks in my street.
That's another reason people didn't want businesses on their streets. They wanted a place to live and a place for that, so people wouldn't all park on your street.
But when we have places to live, we need businesses because we need the cafe and we need the greengrocers
one of the that is not a thing here in the USA. Here in the USA, zoning laws all say, and this is one of the problems, why everybody needs a car. Businesses over here, homes over here. And that's what if you can't open a business. It's not zoned for it. And that's one of the problems they've been having in lots of like smaller cities around where they can't build. There's, believe it or not, there's a housing shortage in the US of A.
Yeah, because our suburbs were not built as suburbs. Our suburbs
Right.
were villages
Mhm.
who got absorbed by the city as the city grew.
Yeah.
So they still have houses instead of tall buildings. But those houses, people live on the first floor, or as you call it, the second floor, because the
Yep.
ground floor has the owner of the house made his store in the garage, and people go there to the business,
Right.
and they live upstairs, which is what
Mhm.
we used to do, which was pretty normal, even when everything was agricultural, because you had the store where in the place where you put your tools, and you lived upstairs. That's
No
the thing
commute.
about zone. No commute. And all is in walking distance. And your next door neighbor has his own store,
Mhm.
which is a different store, unless he hates you and he creates the store to compete with you. That also happens.
One
Not
thing
much,
I
but
started reading on the train this week that's kind of, it brings up time. Um, New essays on the Great Gatsby.
ah,
Because I started working on my illustrated Gatsby version again. But what's so strange about this new looking book is it came out in 1985. So the new essays are 40 years old.
yeah,
And most of these were written in the early 80s. And the world had a completely different relationship with the Great Gatsby in the early 80s. Because Great Gatsby came out in 1925, but it took it at least 20 years to be considered a good novel. So it wasn't really in the 50s, it started making its way into high schools and colleges. Well, colleges first, not high schools yet. By the 60s, it was generally considered a classic. So when this stuff was written, The Great Gatsby had only been considered a classic for about 15, 20 years. And they were going through all the current stuff that was influenced by The Great Gatsby, which is all stuff that's now, 40 years old, 40, 50 years old. So it's weird reading it. And everything that's new to them is old to me.
yeah,
So it's just got a weird sense of time to it as I read it. And it's
yeah,
not like reading an old comic book either. Sometimes when you read an old comic book, there's usually nostalgia to it. There's no nostalgia to reading this. It's just a strange, disjointed sense of time. Because there's nothing nostalgic about an essay.
yeah.
There just isn't. There's no
It's just,
drawings that go with it.
yeah, it's just people. This is what we thought about. This is what we
Yeah,
thought about this back then.
right. This is what we currently think of the Great Gatsby, and this is all the stuff that it's influenced, and this is how it's seeped into culture. And it seeped into culture just like 10 years before this book. So it was all new, it's seeping into culture. And now it's old hat. It's 100 years later.
Yeah,
So it's weird. It messes with my sense of time reading it in a way that a comic book doesn't.
right. I mean, yeah, you can read the novel and you're reading the novel, but if you're
Right.
reading an essay on the novel, the things that are being commented on are irrelevant now. This reminds me of something I read once. Historians write papers on things that are afflicting them in the now.
Hmm.
So let's say you're having some political upheaval, and and you write an essay on ancient Rome, and you pick a period of political upheaval to write an essay, to write a paper about.
Yeah. Ah, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah.
So that
That
thing could
affects your choices. What you're going through affects your choices of what you want to see in the past,
mhm,
what
yeah,
you want to write about.
right.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Because the further away we are from a piece of fiction, the comments we make will be affected by our perceptions of technology, of what's socially acceptable. That's why everybody's commenting on everything written 150 years ago and calling it racist.
Well, over here in the US, we're calling things racist that young Republicans wrote in text just last week. So
Yeah,
I don't know if that's made your news.
kind of. There, I don't know why there was a lot of news about Charlie Kirk's death. Like
Mhm.
only five people in Portugal knew who Charlie Kirk was. Now everybody has heard of Charlie Kirk.
Isn't that amazing? Well, let's go through 3 more Wonder Womans. Let's see what we got. Oh, this one's nice. Prisoner of a Savage Planet, issue number 68. This is November 92. Look at that one.
Ooh.
That's some beautiful figure work. He caught that sort of falling in midair look really well as she goes into the Sarlacc pit.
Uh,
Once again, he loves drawing that hair. Just some light hatching on the side of her. Ropes with just a hint of ropiness. Some hands with some detail in them. That one's a really nice one. His drawing, like I said, his style is drawing well. That's just really well drawn. And here we go with 69, December 92.
where's Boba Fett? Oh, Jared said it.
Revenge of the Amazons. See, that hair drawing style doesn't work as well in the ponytail. I don't think.
Her hair is pretty messy, so
Yeah, but
the
it's not. It doesn't sort of have the right shape, I don't think. Don't ask me what the right shape would be. I don't know. Mesner Low and she's pretty tough looking over there with some tough look. Oh, nice tongue, long tongue sticking out. That's it. That wonderful little detail in the way in the back. Once again, the style is really well. He doesn't have a particular style that you can copy.
Yeah.
Everything is just well drawn. Another goofy looking guy back there with a tongue sticking out.
Sleepy Reader is here.
Hello there, Sleepy Reader.
What's up?
Well, that's a pretty good one. And then one more, 70, A Heritage Reclaimed.
what the?
The ugly auntie stole her costume, so now pissed off Wonder Woman is going to have to get it back.
Uh-huh. Give me back my bathing suit. You're too. It's one
But-
size too small for you.
Beautiful expression on that face, nicely drawn hands, good expression on her face back there too. Oh, she's got a sword she's going to smite her with.
With the flat of her blade.
Yeah. Bottles back there. You only deserve the flat of my blade.
I actually came up with a good explanation for that. I'll tell it after you're done with the Wonder Woman covers.
Okay, here's 68, 69, 70. There's a Reed, Rip, and Slab.
Yeah.
Let's see. Reed first shown, Rip 70. Yeah, everybody's going to rip the ugly one. Oops, over here.
Yeah.
That's the problem with these that are random here. It's like these are easy to do because
Hmm.
You gotta slab this one because it's the prettiest.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm going to slab the middle one
Okay.
because I
Just
actually like the detail on that one.
I don't like the negative space on this one for some reason. I think the negative space between her bow and the logo just doesn't is kind of the center. Looks like a Dreams of Things character. There we go.
Yeah, you could draw.
Oh,
You
it
could
is.
draw somebody like that. Yeah.
That nice ugly one. But yeah, I'm gonna slab this one, read the middle one, and rip the end one. That would be my way of doing it. And I think Wonder Woman on this one needs some flamingos right behind her. On her shoulders, even they can go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In
And
the dolphin, I'm going to replace on the middle cover. I'm going to replace Mullet Guy with the dolphin.
I'm gonna replace the bathing suit stealer with a dolphin. See if Wonder Woman's gonna bash a dolphin with a sword. But yeah, 3 nice covers. I'm glad I found these in Jerry's old comics.
Good Goblin is not in a dolphin mood. We can do orcas.
Orcas. Orcas will just eat us.
Or not, they'll just tip your boat over.
Huh.
That's their national sport for the last few years. All the orcas started tipping boats over. For real.
Wow. Oh, that's right. I think I read something about that.
Mm-hmm.
They started bashing boats and
Yeah, and it's like a prank.
yeah.
They're not scared of any or anything. It's just, hey, let's see if we can put the humans in the water.
This will be fun. Something to do with the day.
Because they noticed that the orcas doing it are juveniles.
Ah.
So it's probably a prank.
Who knew orcas had pranks? So what was
Well,
your reason for the flat of the sword?
Okay, so Valkyrie, the Valkyrie carries the Valiant dead to Valhalla. So
Ah.
if she were to smite common criminals and they would die in battle, she would be obliged to carry them to Valhalla. But they don't deserve it.
No, they only
So they get,
deserve the flat of her blade.
yeah.
That makes perfect sense, as 70s comics make sense.
Let's tell it to Stan Lee. Oh, great idea. Glad I thought of it.
No prize. You win a no prize for that.
Uh-huh. It was only rich boats with assholes, I think. Yeah, yeah. They're not going after small fishing boats. It's yachts. Man, just the type of asshole you have to be a dolphin, to be a large dolphin, and go specifically after yachts.
Was it this issue? I noticed on the Marvel method, they were examining, I think it was in this issue. Oh, this is the facsimile of Fantastic Four number 10, and Jack Kirby and Stan Lee show up in it. So they're examining what's in Jack Kirby's studio here.
Yeah.
And they were saying like things like that Thor cover was probably part of the Kirby blitz of characters he created that they later used like the pinups he created as covers. In this, there was something in this, I think there's an invisible girl pinup in the middle of this book too, for no reason. And they're like, that one may have been, where is it? Was it this issue or the last issue? May have been the last issue. Oh, there it is. This one may have been part of his creation of all the characters when he had his creative blitz, as he called it. And they later recycled it as a pinup.
Their issue is inked by Chickstone, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like it. Got the
Not sure
big, thick outlines.
Not sure if it's got a
Inking
credits
Dick
already.
Ayers, it says.
Dick Ayers? Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
But some of it looks like Chick Stone, because Chick Stone
Yeah.
was one who did those big, thick outlines.
But Chick Stone did not do faces like that.
Okay.
Chick Stone's inked faces were a lot cleaner. He has the thick outlines, but the faces are clean, and that thing doesn't look. Yeah, that kind of looks like Chick Stone.
Wonder who inked this cover. An evil Mr. Fantastic. Maybe it was Dick Ayers. But yeah, they were just discussing that. So I was like, I figured I may as well open it up and give it a look. Whoops, come on. Go back in your bag, will you? Don't get stuck on the tape. But at least it's painter's tape, so it won't make any tape pulls.
Good. So well, they did credit the cover to Dick Ayers as well.
Okay. Yeah, it looked like it might have been. Same inking as the inside, but I'm not as good as others at recognizing inkers. Like more Todd or Bob Wyacek.
Yeah, Dick. I actually haven't read that much Dick Ayers inking, because he did a lot of that. He did a lot of that in Human Torch, for example.
Right.
But in the Avengers, it was usually Paul Reinman, also in the X-Men.
Okay.
And Captain America was Frank Giacoya.
Who was Paul Reinman? I don't think I've ever read a thing about him.
Reinman was one of the jobbers that were there doing the science fiction stories.
Okay. How far back did he go, and when did he stop? Do you have any idea?
It didn't last longer than probably 65.
Okay.
But there are some Reinman stories pre-implosion.
Mm-hmm.
But he stuck around. So, doing as soon as Kirby begins, you have Kirby as the number of anthologies grows from 2 to 5. You have Kirby and Ditko are almost in every issue. Sometimes even Kirby does 2 stories, and that's before the main story goes from 7 to 13 pages. Then there's Ayers would ink Kirby or draw a story, but Ayers was also busy with inking the westerns or drawing the westerns. So it was more likely that you found a Don Heck, a Joe Sinnott, and a Paul Reinman, always doing full art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think I've ever read anything about him. Yeah. How long did he live? I mean, I don't think I've ever seen an interview with him. So
Yeah, I'm sure. Paul Reinman's not usually very well thought of. Okay, he died in 88.
Okay, so he was around for a while after the 60s.
Yeah, he was still born in Germany. Probably immigrated as a kid. But apart from that, yeah, it was not. It was just somebody who was there, I guess. He would not have been a first choice had he not stuck around. He probably needed the money.
Yeah. I wonder what he moved on to. Commercial art of some kind.
Probably.
Maybe. Or he
Or
went
maybe
and became a banker. I don't know.
Or maybe you went
Who
to
knows?
DC and we didn't. Maybe you went to DC and we didn't notice. It
was
is
some
possible,
other
though.
name.
There were a bunch of guys who were mostly at Marvel in the mid 50s, because Marvel was producing a lot of art. It's producing a lot of comics. And when the implosion hit, a bunch of them moved to DC
Mm-hmm.
or to Harvey.
Or
so it was
Charlton.
Maybe. Oh, Rocky
Ditko.
Rocky Mastricerio definitely moved to Charlton.
Yeah. Charlton. See, Tit Goblin's asking us where Wilson.
Where's
Wilson was here at the end of the show last week. I thought he was supposed to be here this week, so I don't know where he is. And I think Chris is at Baltimore Comic Con right now. So Chris has been doing cons, I know, for a few weekends now.
Yeah.
Wilson's jolly nature and Chris's grumpiness set up his weekend. Jolly and grumpy.
I mean, he does need time to read those Spider-Man.
Yeah,
because he's been accumulating them.
He hasn't read any of that series yet. That's just funny.
Yeah, it's probably waiting until the book gets canceled and rebooted with a new #1. And the same creative team, which is ridiculous. You reboot the comic and keep the creative team.
You know, that's just what you do these days.
The thing is, if the comic got canceled before it hit issue 12, and you keep the creative team, you're not going to get a boost in sales with the #1. If it's been going on for 30-something numbers,
okay. I'm guessing they're getting a boost with #1. That's why they're doing it. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. But I'm not sure. But they're getting not that big.
Yeah, it's diminishing returns. If it's not a team if it's not a creative team that has people talking, and the book's not hitting any decent numbers, and you're just trying to get the book out because you maybe that's it. You're just trying to get the book out to keep the trademark, but
because our lawyers demanded it, we call that one. But it also could be because, you know, #1, #2, #3, #4, #5, #6. And if you put out another #1, it maybe not as high as the first #1, but certainly higher than the #7.
You're
so
not
I think that's why they do it too. And then it goes down again. Either cancel it or you give another number.
But you're not going to get any return from that.
I think they do get a return from that. It's not ever diminishing the return, but like #1 sells 50,000 copies. #7 sells 17,000 copies. So if you reboot it and it still doesn't get 50,000 copies, it gets 35,000 copies. That's still twice as good as 17.
But if you have a sharp drop, let's say #7 sells 8,000 copies. If you start at 50 and you drop to 8 in 7 issues, and you restart with a new #1, you're not going to get 50,000 copies again. You're not even going to get 40.
No, you're going to get much better than 8.
But it's 25, and you can't have a #1 with 25.
I'm just saying it's better than 8. That's why somebody there has crunched the numbers, and they don't know anything about comics. They don't care about story. They don't care who's doing it. And said, if we put out a #9, we'll sell 8,000 copies. If we put out #1, we'll send 25,000 copies.
I wouldn't even bother putting it out.
I know you wouldn't bother it, but the guy whose job it is to keep track of those numbers would bother.
And when you were there,
he considers that doing his job.
Yeah, but when you were there, the type of you knew that the editorial team, the type of the amount of time I'm wasting putting out this comic that's only going to sell 25,000 on issue #1. I could be trying to launch something that's going to sell more. You're wasting time. I'm
sure they do that sometimes, but other times they just go put out an issue #1 and wash their hands of it. That they want an easy day that day. They don't want to have to think about coming up with some new plan. I think you're giving people too much credit for being able to see that they should come up with something new that'll sell 50,000 copies. You're giving them way too much credit. The odds of that happening are so slim that they'll just say, put out a #1. That makes my day easier.
Marvel also likes to dominate shelf space. True.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're back in 1954. Nothing matters. Let's just put out some more comics.
Well, this week was dominated by at my local shop with those indie books that all came out through that unnamed distributor. I can't think of their name. It's got a goofy name too.
Probably.
Let me
And
see.
whoever.
Mike Dolce mentioned the name. Let me see if I can look on his Facebook.
Because who the guy who decided to distribute the indie comics knows he's not going to make any money doing it. It's just because somebody has to, and it might as well be him.
He's doing it as a part-time thing. Where is his picture? Oh, there we go. Too many freaking get out of there ad blocker thing. Philbo. Philbo.
Philbo.
So the name of the distributor is Philbo.
All right, here it is. PhilboDistribution.com, Philbo Entertainment Promotions. Delivering ideas and dreams in the literary medium to retailers across the globe. Mission statement: Philbo Distribution facilitates the relationship between small independent publishers and retail outlets across North America.
Yeah. And it was just, like I said, it was some guy. I know Mike was, he knew him from various conventions he was at. And he was like, yeah, I'll distribute it. I don't know what his background is in.
Yeah, online catalog free to download in PDF. Yeah, what's the point of printing? What would be the point of printing that and distributing it to the stores? Might as well just have it people download it from the website. If somebody wants something, they'll just order.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to read a catalog of just indie comics. and back in the day, there were people who only read the Marvel and DC sections and didn't bother with the rest.
Yeah. I did notice there was a new catalog on my, I didn't see what it was. I didn't know if it was Philbo or somebody else. There was a new catalog at my LCS on the counter. They had 4 catalogs instead of 3.
Yeah, and these guys call their catalog Phil Views, and it's using a logo that's very much like the Previews catalog logo. But then again, why not?
People are familiar with it.
The website is well done. I mean, they have everything up, all the links up here, including one for the order form. So make it easier to find everything. Publisher submission guidelines, retailer account sign up. Yeah, this is simple and easy to use. And if they want to make it that it makes it easier to distribute indie comics to the stores, make the website accessible. The Diamond website was never accessible.
No,
they had that website for over. They had that website for 30 years, and it was a pain to navigate. And I wasn't a retailer. I just want to see. Even back in 2002, I thought, why don't they have the previous catalog in PDF format on their website? I mean, it's not like it's a collector's item.
Let me run through the last 5 Wonder Woman Brian Bolland covers.
All right.
We've got issue 71 from February 93. How come there's no women's wrestling subgenre of comic book covers?
That's right.
Like there's bondage, there's never been like a women's wrestling subgenre. But if there was, this one would definitely be on it.
Yes.
Some good faces there, good solid line work. Then we've got issue 72. Once again, kids, don't keep your comics in the garage because this one's yellowing. This is the one that's worth something, I think. People like this cover. Not my favorite of them, but cool spears and
It's a good poster.
hell, yeah, I think that's why people like it. It's a poster cover, and especially in the age before there were poster covers. But this not my favorite of the bunch, but I can see why people dig it. Then we've got 73. This one I like, but very weird grin on her face. Hey, it's a living. Once again, solid
Yeah.
drawing.
Okay.
There's the taco. Is that a spaghetti taco?
Oh, looks like it.
Yeah.
Why would you put spaghetti on your
Loeb's,
taco?
Lee Motor, and Andy Parks. Tough view to draw, too. That's not an easy
Yeah.
one.
You have to go up on. You have to go up on a ladder and photograph the model from 3/4 angle.
Not an easy one. 74, May 83. Nice ensemble cover.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of expression, a good variety in the faces.
Yeah, it's one of those "Who are these people?" covers.
Right. Eat the rich. Wonder Woman, her face is a little wider than normal, too.
Yeah, it's a forced smile.
Yeah.
Just smile for
This
the
guy
camera.
over here, too, pretty cool looking with the hat.
Uh-huh.
But once again, his style is just being well drawn. There's not a lot you can swipe style-wise from his covers. And here's the final one, Wonder Woman 75, where she fights an octopus. Pretty wild. So I don't think, now that I look at this, I don't think this is how an octopus would fight her. Because, well, I don't know. Do squids, are squids the one with the beaks? Do octopus
Squids
have beaks?
The octopus does have a beak.
Okay.
They all have beaks.
So he'd
It's
be
just that
pulling her towards the inside of him where the beak
yes,
is.
yes.
Not on the outside, wherever this is.
But the octopus is bigger than a squid, so they're stronger.
Well, there's giant squids.
There are giant
Those are
squids,
really
but
big.
they're bottom feeders.
Oh yeah, they're way down deep.
Yeah. Regular squids are much smaller. They're
Once
fast
again,
hunters.
just well drawn. There's nothing stylistically you can take from this. It's just well drawn.
A few years ago, there was a documentary, and there was an episode about fishermen in my hometown. And there was a guy who had just caught an octopus. Now, if you pull it out of the water, it doesn't die immediately.
Right.
So that thing was out of the water. The guy was holding up the octopus like this, and the octopus was trying to get all the tentacles around the fisherman's arm, and I got you. It was because those things actually leave a mark.
Yeah, there's the suction of those
the suction cups. Yeah,
can tear out your flesh even a little bit. I think if they're big enough.
Yeah.
But it's really the beak that'll eat you.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, those are the Brian Bolland covers that I found in Jerry's Comics out in my garage as I look for comics to give away to my students. And I'm gonna have to figure out where to put them. I'm gonna have to get a Brian Bolland cover section somewhere so that I can put them in there and pull them out when I want to look at them. Because I still need to get rid of stuff. What did I get rid of this week? Some more Spawns for Jake. A Spider-Man Brand New Day hardcover, which I think the new movie is going to be based on. Or at least the name, I think, is Brand New Day. And some random 25-cent and free comic book day comics. I think that was it. You know what's funny? You know what the comics were last week that nobody wanted? Do you
What?
remember I think they were from the early 2000s. Marvel put out a series of comics called Call of Duty that had nothing to do with the video game, but
Right.
were about cops and firemen.
Yeah, it was after 9/11.
Right, right.
About a year after 9/11.
Yeah. And they were all just disappointed that it wasn't a Call of Duty video game comic book.
I
They're like, the
suppose.
logo's even still the same. I was like, then I was trying to remember when the first Call of Duty came out.
Right. Call of Duty, when did it come out?
Sleepy Reader asked, do you usually look at covers for their swipe ability, Jared? No, it's just my a few weeks ago when I found the first Brian Bolland covers, Bolland like Holland, not Boland like Poland. When I found the first Brian Bolland covers, that's what I learned showing these two. I realized one of the things I realized about Bolland was that I don't think there's anybody really copying him. And I think one of the reasons that there's nobody really copying him is his style is so simple. And before I looked at these covers, I wouldn't have said his style was so simple because in my mind, his style is sort of detailed and complex, but his style is really simple, well drawn, and stripped down. He can find that one line because when you're drawing and you're sketching, it's all about searching for that one line that you're going to end up drawing. He can find that one line and it's always perfect and there's nothing to copy. So that's what I was referring to when I was saying there's nothing for anybody to swipe in Brian Bolland because he's good at, you could swipe his images if you could get away with it. Like, I mean, people swipe that Killing Joke all the time, but that's just because it's easy to do in one of his most famous images. But so you could try swipe, but he's good at image making. He's good at drawing, and he's good at breaking the drawing down into very simple lines. But then it ends up being way more complex than it looks. It's an interesting thing. But I can't think of anyone. Who did you suggest that maybe you thought were Brian Bolland like?
I forgot.
Who was it, Nessa?
Derek Robertson, I guess.
Derek Roberts. So I could see what you mean, but I think he actually is more complex. He uses a lot of lines, but his drawing is pretty. He could break it down too. So I can see what you mean by that. Like I can't. What was that? Something Gardens I read by him recently that was really good.
And the guy who replaced Pat Broderick on Doom 2099. Steve Pugh.
Steve, yeah, I'm Steve Pugh. If I remember, is more of a Steve Rude guy, but
Yeah.
I really can't remember.
Yeah, because Steve Pugh used to draw like Derek Robertson, but now he doesn't. So
okay. Yeah, I think he's a tough person to draw like because his style is way more stripped down than I ever realized. And full of good drawing, of course.
Okay, there was no Call of Duty game when Marvel did those comics.
Okay.
If they announced the game, but then again, they wouldn't have called the comic after the game in order to.
I wouldn't think they would,
because the video games were not culturally relevant in the same way in the beginning of the millennium. Most people wouldn't care about a video game.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the I guess people just didn't like the comic, but it had nothing to do with them being disappointed because it wasn't about the video game. The video game didn't exist.
Well, the students were disappointed that it wasn't about the video game. Back at the time they weren't, but right now they were.
Okay, so the comics were canceled 6 months before the video game hit the stores.
Okay.
It would not have been famous enough for anyone to care. Even
No
if
one cared.
people, even if gamers had already heard of the game coming out and had seen images from previews from it and were excited about the game, they would not have cared that the comic was not about the video game because it
Yeah, they
wasn't
just
culturally relevant yet.
Yeah, they just my students just looked at them. Oh, Call of Duty comics. These aren't Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Oh well. And they ended up getting left behind, but someone took them eventually. Then when I wasn't there, so I was like, they weren't there this week, so I know good.
Well,
Because
they'll teach
usually
them
the
to
students take everything that I give
yeah. Well, they'll teach them to draw cops and the firemen.
them. Well, we
All
should
right.
wrap it up so Paolo can get to
Definitely.
sleep.
Exactly. Let's have some balloons.
Some balloons, some confetti. Oh, some lightning lasers first, and then
Lasers first.
confetti. Where's our? Oh,
That's not.
that's confetti. There we go.
That's confetti. There we go. Yeah.
And this is the fireworks, and that's just a boring thumbs up. There's nothing exciting about. I'm already giving you a thumbs up. Why are you giving me another thumbs up? What's that all about? So, double thumbs down is the thunder and rain, right? There we go.
Yeah, it makes it rain. Let's make it rain. Next week, is it still me? Is it you?
Now it's me. Then you got Halloween.
Oh yeah.
We'll go with me next week, and then the week after that, you can have Halloween. Ooh,
Yeah,
spooky.
I'll probably do Halloween alone because I won't care, and you guys are out giving candy.
Halloween.
Here's what you're going to do. You're going to TP your own house so that nobody comes.
All right.
All right. See ya.
Rally ho.